Hi guys and welcome back to Christian Cast, where I go fishing so you don't have to. As I mentioned in the last week's video where we did a strength test on one of the big swim baits, today is going to be a unboxing that I'm really looking forward to for such a long time. I've had this parcel lying on my desk for quite a while now already, just unpacking it sometimes, looking at it. And I'm really excited to try and test it as well. We might actually go over to the river today and give it some casts. And we are actually talking about the Calcutta Conquest 201. So it's a left hand reel, it's a baitcaster. It's my first baitcaster that I've ever gotten and used. So I'm really excited, a little bit nervous as well. And we'll straight away get into the unboxing, and I'll tell you how I actually got to having this reel. And then we'll also take a look at a rod that I got just to finish up the setup, and we'll also be putting line on the baitcaster today, as I always do it. I don't know if it's the best way for a baitcaster, but I always do it on the spinning rods, the way I will show you today. There's also a video that I created on how I put line on my spinning reels. I'll pop it up here or there if you're interested. And then I'll straight away pop you over to the desk and we'll take a look at what you get in the box and go through some of the specs. I'm not an expert at all, but I'll also take you with on a kind of beginner's unboxing of a baitcaster reel. So I'll straight away pop you over and we'll get started. So I just wanted to show you what I normally fish with, because as you all know, I am big into spin fishing. So I don't know if you haven't seen it yet. I've got fishing adventures. I'll put one up here or there. And I actually use the Diver Caldea LT 2500. And I am really happy with it. It has got a lot of use in already. There's a little bit of marks, but that's just normal wear and tear, but it still works like the first day I actually got it out of the box. And we will today just take a look at the rough differences between a baitcaster. So the story behind this reel is I got to know somebody that actually collects reels, as I mentioned shortly in the last video. So we've got a little bit of paperwork, a really cool explosion drawing. I always love them, as you also might have seen in the video where I unbox my spinning reel. I am always big on these because I just find it cool to see how many parts that are in, and you actually get a part list and things like that. I personally enjoy that. And now we've got our reel itself. And I actually, as I was saying, got this reel off a second-hand marketplace. It was never on the water yet. It is just beautiful. It is very smooth. Just take a look at this. Just listen to this. That's the sound we all like. And it is a very nice size. It's quite small and it's still quite handy. So it's a full metal build. You can open this and get a look at the brake system that they use. You can also set the brake system. As I said, I'm not a big bait casting fan yet. I'm really looking forward to test this one out and see how it all goes. We'll be adding some line on it today. And I just like the fact that it is all metal. It is something that you will really have for a long time and have joy on it. You can set your brake right here, a spool tensioning knob right here, and the tensioning knob or the brake settings right over here for finer settings. So I will be testing this today anyway, maybe giving it some throws after adding some line. And we'll go through how you set it, or at least how I heard one should set it. Once you test it, you can also drop in the comments if you have any ideas or anything that I can take and use, and maybe it will improve my casting. And then you still have got a little like baggie, which you can put your reel in. I like the fact that it isn't completely waterproof, but it's very vented, so you actually see through that. If you put your reel in and it is still wet, the humidity can actually escape. So that is just a nice thing, because I've actually got for my spinning reel a neoprene sleeve, and you actually have to open it up and really let it sweat out there, because otherwise it will stay moist. So I actually often leave my my reel out and just let it dry, and after it's dry I put it in. So now I'll just go through the small things that straight away are things that make me a little bit nervous. Is the casting itself. Here you have got this button that you can release the spool itself. So when you release that button, this is free spinning depending on how loose you make the brake knob. And then you can start reeling in. With the conventional spinning reel, I don't know, most of you anyway know it, you open your holder here and you hold your line with your trigger finger, and then while casting you let go. The line comes off the front here, and once you start reeling you close that and start reeling in again. And with this, a lot of people say it is a lot quicker to use a baitcaster. It is a lot preciser. You can cast more into spots that you actually want to. So I'm really interested to see how it compares and if I actually like it, or if I will stick with a classic spinning reel. But I really thought I actually just like the look as well a lot on them, and I think once you get into it, you tend to get more than one. I just noticed because I wrote with the guy I got it from, and he said, welcome, you've got one, but it won't stay by one, you'll end up having more. So now we'll just go through the specs still. I know off the bat that it is a slower gear ratio, so I have got the 201, and it is a 4.8 to 1 gear ratio. That means you can actually get back 57 centimeters while retrieving per crank. So it is a slower reel. I'm really interested to see if that actually disturbs me, because with the spinning reels they are a lot quicker. And I actually anyway wanted something slower for pike fishing and taking my swim baits, because I don't want to really crank them in. And if I really want to crank them in, I'll just have to really push into the handle here. But we'll see how that actually is on the water, and if that ends up being a problem for me. You actually still have different models of the Calcutta Conquest. There is a high gear ratio version of this reel. There are some bait finesse fishing versions, which I might also look into if I like this, and then we can compare them. And then we'll just still look into what we have got otherwise. So as you see, we have got these controls. So we have got this is the brake control dial that you can then still control the brake itself. There's these wings, as I said, right here. So the more you go to the max setting here, the brakes actually open more and it tends to brake more, or something like that. So we'll see how that setting itself actually ends up changing things when we are out on the water. Then we have got our classic handle knob, and you can actually upgrade them. You can get different knobs and things like that. It's really customizable and people really do cool things with it. And I'm really interested to see if I actually enjoy this or not. And then you have still got the brake setting right here. So the drag setting actually, so it depends on how strong you want your drag to be. So I will lighten it up a bit, and I like to, when I put the reel away, always lighten up the drag, because otherwise you always have the drag pushing on, and that is not good for your reel. And then we have still got our cast control knob, and that is the knob that I think you will set most of the settings before going into a cast with changing up lures and changing up things like that. And then you have got your clutch bar. So this actually makes the reel spin freely. So once you have got that, you can see you can set this off and it just goes free. So that's really going to be interesting. I'm going to see if we actually get straight away a bird nest today or if we get any backlash and things like that. I'm really a bit nervous because we are going to put on some new J-braid onto this reel, and I'll straight away prepare everything and then we will start doing that. I'll also try to get more information on reels like this. As I told you, I'm very new to this and I'm really looking forward to learn about this reel and also all the bait casting itself, because I would like to get into that a little bit more and maybe also get a bait finesse fishing version of this reel, because I actually really got this for a steal from my now friend that actually sold it to me, which is really cool because they are quite pricey, but I hope they're worth it. And I just couldn't say no to the deal I got on it. So we'll see and take it out. So I'll straight away get everything ready. Before getting ready for putting online, I'll just quickly show you the rod that I actually got for it. It's nothing special. It is a Sakura travel rod actually, because I'm gonna take this with the reel on some of my trips in the future, and we'll straight away take a look because I anyway need it for when we will be putting line on our spool, and then you guys straight away see what the setup is like. It is a very strong, heavy action rod, and it is in this beautiful blue with some gold accents. I wasn't really looking for something that fits perfectly. I just actually was looking for a budget rod because I already bought the reel and I wasn't sure if I actually like baitcasters that much. So I just thought I'll get this and test it out and see how it is for me and if I actually enjoy it or not, because then I can anyway, depending on if I would like a new rod, get a new rod. Maybe you guys have got suggestions for me. What is also very interesting is most base casting rods always have a trigger right here. So you've got this in your hand and you've got naturally your thumb always ready for the clutch bar or for thumbing your reel when casting. So I'm really interested if I forget this sometimes and we'll end up with messing up our line, but we'll see that today when I go out and test this for the first time. As I said, a bit nervous, but we'll see how it goes. I've got my rod with the first eye set through and I threaded through the line, made a little loop through the holes in the spool itself, went out again and made sure to get this knot set on there. So now I will quickly go ahead and trim away the one part of the line that we won't be using. And now I always like to take very thin see-through electrical tape. I know that it might not be the way to go, but it really helps me a lot with knowing if the line is coming to an end and I get a glimpse of this electrical tape coming through. I always like to put it on and it gives me a nice base of where this is going. So I will tighten our drag and just give it a nice round on our reel. Try to get it as flat as possible and without any things, and I'll show you the result then. So as you see, there is that nice little line right here, and now we will go ahead and take our line that we've got and put it back in here. Let the line run out of our spool. I'll take this between my feet and just start cranking until the spool fills up, and then I'll show you guys the result of how it looks when I'm done. So as you see, I added the line. I could have gone a bit higher, but I'm a bit worried about backlash and things like that, because it's my first time throwing a baitcaster, and we'll see how that all goes. It's going to be really exciting to take this out because it's something completely different, and I anyway wanted to learn it already for a while. And the other thing we're going to be taking out is our pike lure, just to test how the action is, how the tail works, that you guys get another look. I'm going to be adding trebles, and also we'll see how the trebles play with our tail if we end up having trouble, if I have to reset this or use different hooks. But it's going to be the first test of that, and then we'll just see if I actually enjoy this or anything like that. So I'll set this up, finish, and then we'll tie on our lure and get out to the water. Hi guys, so you see that I'm already at the riverbank. I looked for a spot where we can take this out and test it nicely. I'm really interested to see how the first casts go, so we'll also be looking into the settings that we can actually change on it. And as you all know, I'm anyway a beginner, so let's see if I get a bird nest straight away by the first cast. So first thing, we will be setting our tension knob. For a beginner, we will just see that it drops a bit slower, so I'll tension this up. And the line still keeps on turning, so that would be not good for us, but we'll straight away tension it up even more. Okay, so this is quite tight, but I don't have to thumb the spool at all, and it still stops as soon as it hits the water. So I'll straight away go ahead and stop it, and we didn't get a bird nest or anything, and we see our bait coming in. Funny enough, I think we could even loosen the knob a bit more. We haven't tangled our tail yet. Ooh, that nearly bird nested, but we'll just go ahead and pull out and drag along. So I think the thumbing will be the way to go with a reel like this. Anyway, everybody says you should loosen it a bit more, that it is just freely spinning right here, but that will get used to after a while, I think. So I might just loosen it a bit. Oop, that was a big bird nest. Oh, well, that was a bit of a problem now. I'll see if I can fix that, and then I'll do some casts still, get you guys back if I can't fix it. Otherwise we'll have to see what we can do. But yeah, that's what I meant with I am a complete beginner. So we are back at it. I actually was able to get it off. Took a little bit of time, but nothing too bad. And now we're just going to keep our thumb on here and see. I really like how our tail goes. We've got a nice little wobble towards our lure. I don't know if you guys can actually see that. So I've got a nice steady wobble from left to right. I think I might do a foiled version of this with a silver foil on the side of its belly, because then you always get a flash when it wobbles across. And now we'll just slowly get used to having our thumb on this and test how it goes. And we haven't had any problem with the tail getting stuck yet, because that somebody actually was worried in the comments. And actually that was a nice cast already. We slowly getting a bit more distance. And I'm getting a bit more daring. That was a nice cast across the river. Cool. I find it's not that bad with the pulling in ratio, although it's the slow gear version. Now we got our hook on the side of our body, but nothing too bad. Released it. Still no backlash. Cool. I'm a bit panic stricken and always break it straight away with the thumb, but I'm sure that that will come with time once you fish with it more often and you get to know your reel. As always, something new is always, yeah, different. Oh. Fuck. Well, that lure is gone. And I got backlash. Hi guys, so the light isn't the greatest anymore. As you see, it's getting darker. In my region, it always now starts getting darker really quickly, but I'm really happy with the reel itself. I like how it performs. I also like the casting. The bird nest was anyway a must for the first time. I'm going to take it with home and fix it up, and then we'll get out again and just keep on practicing until we really are able to control this properly. And then we'll also head into different baitcasters maybe, because I really like the way they work, and I also like the lure that we lost today, so I'm going to make another version of it. We sadly couldn't retrieve the lure because, as you saw, I don't know if the video footage actually caught it, but it snapped off mid-air because the spool stopped spinning and it got stopped straight away and it just snapped off. The tail went flying and the lure sadly is lost. So that's quite sad, but I got all my line and we're going to take that with, because we're not going to leave that out here. And I just want to thank you guys again for joining me on a new adventure and trying out something new that I've never done before. And we'll see how it goes and how we actually progress with time. And otherwise, there's nothing else to wish you guys. And I just want to say, keep on fishing, stay safe, and we'll see each other for next week's video.